Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, December 17th. So we have the moon in her rulership in this Cancer energy until 1:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at which time the moon is going to go void, of course. That's when things get shaky and uncertain and unstable. And of course, we're locking into Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, at 6:40 p.m. again Eastern Standard Time. So while the moon is still in her rulership in this Cancer energy, of course, we're overly attached to the past. We are very attached to what is tried, tested, true, what is familiar, what is comfortable, what makes us feel safe and secure. We're very introverted. We are hella defensive and super intuitive. Again, kind of picking up on the subtle energies that we can't make sense of at this particular point in time. The shift into Leo energy is always a welcome one because, first of all, it brings us out of our crab-like shell. It puts us out into the world. The heart and soul of the zodiac, of course, wants to be seen, wants to be heard. We have new things to express. And because Mercury just went direct and we're still acclimating to this new, let's call it perspective, we're going to have a lot of truth that we are kind of, needing to get off of our chest, needing to get out of our body. And, that Leo energy, a little bit extra, a little bit dramatic, if you will. We definitely want to take center stage. And again, we want to be seen and heard, especially when it comes to expressing our new ideas, new emotions, new perspectives, new understandings. We want to make that connection. So there are 10 different aspects taking place here today. 9 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon, while still in her rulership in this Cancer energy, going to make a little bit of a harsh interaction with Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, who is now direct in Sagittarius energy. Keep in mind, we are in the post-retrograde shadow period for about 2 weeks, taking us all the way into this brand new year coming at us. And until then, we're still having to piece things together. Our mental plane is not functioning correctly. We're still kind of, again, trying to connect the dots, make some sense of things that, of course, have transpired not only over the course of the last 3 weeks that Mercury has been retrograde, but technically speaking, we're reviewing the last 2 years. And so with this particular interaction, our heart space, the moon, the head space, Mercury, not on the same page at all. A lot of the reason for that is the Sagittarius energy that Mercury is now direct in is very focused on the future, while again, the moon in Cancer, very attached to the past. We have the moon in Cancer sextiling, which is a beautiful interaction, with Uranus, the Great Awakener, who is retrograde in Taurus energy, helping us to look back on the lives that we've built, that we've created, to see what it is that we've outgrown, but what it is that we're still kind of holding on to. This particular energy is going to give us a lightning bolt of inspiration, of motivation, of clarity on why it is that we do still have some attachments to people, places, and things that, again, the old version of self was very attached to, that the new version of self really doesn't have much resonance, much connection to. This is going to help us put into perspective where it is that we do have the ability to kind of make our way away from certain connections, certain people, places, and things, and kind of rebuild, restructure our physical realms with the right people, places, and things that, of course, are more in alignment with our soul self. The moon is then going to make a harsh interaction with the sun. Of course, still in this Sagittarius energy, we are definitely feeling all the feels. And again, if you haven't listened to this week's Ascension forecast, I'm going to recommend you do so that you understand where some of these energies are popping off in our physical form. Anytime that the sun and the moon are coming together, there's going to be an aha moment. There's going to be a new level of awareness of what we want, what we need, what we desire, what we have to do, what we have to pursue. But because this is not the nicest interaction, we're going to be learning this the hard way through triggers, through activations. Again, the sun in Sagittarius energy has us focused on the future, building new goals, visions, and dreams, while the moon in Cancer energy desperately trying to hold on to what it is that we've once built, once created, once brought to life. The moon then going to make a trine, which is a beautiful interaction, with Neptune in his rulership in this Pisces energy. So this is water on water action. And we love this because, first of all, it's going to wash over us, cleanse us from the gunk, from the junk, emotionally speaking. It's going to renew and refresh our soul and our spirit, kind of, again, give us a new perspective, a new emotional disposition. This is going to be a beautiful energy to tap into some compassion, some empathy. If you're in a situation where, again, forgiveness is needed, we're going to be able to tap into that. We're definitely putting ourselves in a situation to have to calm our asses down emotionally. Again, we're still kind of under the influence of this full moon in Gemini that got us all rattled up, had emotions kind of, reaching the peak potency of this awareness that we need to have over them. There was a breakthrough, if you will, good, bad, or otherwise, and now we need to calm our emotional waters down. Now, Neptune is going to bring a stronger connection to our higher self, to our intuition, to the dreams, to the goals, to the visions that we absolutely need to pursue. And so this is emotionally charging us to be inspired, to kind of refresh, restructure the soul space, and just kind of calm our inner realm down so that we can get focused on what needs to be done. 1:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon is going void, of course. While the moon is in this void, we're going to have the moon in Cancer energy make a very harsh interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over roles, responsibilities, discipline, structures, foundations, and of course, Saturn in this Pisces energy, trying to wrap up a 30-year cycle, trying to dissolve the boundaries, the structures, the foundations that the old version of self had built, had created, that of course, acting a little bit more like a prison at this point, holding us back, restricting us from actually moving on. We do have this element of restructuring our belief system as well. And of course, Mr. Saturn, he brings the reality check. He brings the restriction. He brings the funk. He brings the limitations. And in this particular interaction, we're definitely going to take a little bit of a deep, dark turn down the wrong parts of memory lane in order to kind of remind us what it is that we've overcome, where it is that we've been challenged, and where it is now that we got to boss up, do better, and actually be better, moving on and moving forward. We have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, in this Aquarius energy, semi-squaring Neptune, who of course is in his rulership in this Pisces energy. Now, this is an interesting dynamic because Neptune, technically speaking, is the higher octave of Venus, meaning whatever it is that we can conjure up in our imagination, in our fantasy land, whatever intuitive downloads we're receiving, we're able to bring it to life through Venus. As she does rule over the physical body, she is the portal of life, and she does have the ability to materialize the goals, the visions, the dreams that Neptune and Pisces downloads us with. Venus being in Aquarius energy, we're definitely a lot more emotionally detached from situations and circumstances than we would be if we were in any other sign. But again, that Aquarius energy focusing in on the greater, grander vision that we would like to end up in order to break it down into small, manageable pieces so that we can see what we have power and control over to make adjustments to improve in this present moment to have us align with a particular outcome. The issue here is that the Aquarius energy, highly intellectual, very, very focused on logical, practical, systematic, methodical type of calculated actions in order for us to do better, to be better. The thing about this is that Neptune being in Pisces energy, heavily reliant on intuition, on gut feels, on our higher self, downloading us with new passions, new goals for us to pursue. So we're kind of trying to figure out what part of self to be leaning into, our gut, our intuition, our soul or heart space versus our intellect, our logic, our practicality. So this is definitely going to ruffle some feathers, if you will. We do have a little bit of a distracting element here because delusion and confusion are very high. We do have the tendency to kind of, not pay attention to what it is that's right in front of our face because there are aspects that are in front of our face right now that we just don't want to see. So this is a perfect example of turning a blind eye to situations and circumstances that are not favorable, that are kind of not what we want. And then we kind of lose ourselves imagining the best, or if you're tapping into this negative energy, the worst probable situations. And so, of course, even in the best or worst, idea or vision or goal or dream that you could be kind of conjuring up in your mind. It never happens that way. The truth is somewhere in the middle, and it's going to be very hard for us to find that truth because of the overwhelming distractions that are definitely triggering and activating us to move away from what is right there in front of our face and dream up, conjure up a goal, vision, and dream that, again, probably not rooted in reality. We have the moon in this Cancer energy, still void, of course, making a semi-square, creating a little bit of tension and conflict with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, who, of course, is still retrograde in Gemini energy, having us on the fence, looking back, analyzing what it is that we've learned, but where it is that we failed to integrate it, where it is that we've been through some tough love life lessons, but where it is that we're making the same patterns, mistakes, behaviors over and over again, where it is that we need to grow, we need to expand on our inner dialogue, on our inner narrative, and actually start doing something about it. So again, this is not a nice interaction, which means that Jupiter is not bringing the optimism, the confidence, the hype. Instead, we're kind of limited on being able to see where it is that, again, the challenges that we're currently facing are our, let's call it, testing period on our ability to grow, to evolve, to move on, to move forward. So we're kind of feeling a little bit defeated in this. We don't feel like we want to rise to the occasion of really growing and evolving at this particular juncture, mostly because, again, the moon in Cancer, very attached to the past. 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon is going to shift into Leo energy. We're definitely going to feel that shift. It is going to be a positive one. However, an hour later, we have the moon fresh in this Leo energy, now in a direct opposition to Mr. Pluto, the great transformer, sitting over there at the beginning degrees of Aquarius energy, because of course, Leo energy and Aquarius energy sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. The moon in Leo wants us to be hella expressive, wants us to get a lot off of our chest, wants us to bring this new authentic version of self out to play, wants us to follow our heart space, our soul space, our dreams. Problem is that, again, Mr. Pluto, the great transformer himself, he is kind of, I'm going to say, not really pausing us, but he needs us to kind of slow down just a tad. Mr. Pluto is going to highlight for us where it is that, guess what, we may have a lot to say, we may have a lot that we want to do, but how is that going to impact the people in the world around us? Again, the Leo energy very connected to this personal, individual identity that, of course, we are building within, but that Aquarius energy that Pluto's in is more concerned about how whatever it is that we're doing as individuals is going to either impact positively or negatively the people in the world around us. Again, that Aquarius energy, super kind of keen on pushing the collective in the right way, in the right path, in the right direction. So of course, Pluto intensifies everything. And because we're kind of all up in our feels, we are a little bit, I'm going to say, more dramatic, a little bit extra in this Leo energy. And we are definitely going to feel the tug of war on where it is that we have to balance our want, need, and desire to be seen, to be heard, to stand in our truth, to bring this new energy online, but also have some consideration on how those changes within us could be impacting the people in the world around us. The moon is then going to trine, which is a beautiful interaction with that North Node in Aries energy. This is fire on fire action, which we love. It's going to help burn off the heavier emotions. And first of all, we need to rid ourselves from that heaviness, that weight, before we get reignited again. This is going to bring a fire or spark of flame into our mood and our attitude because, of course, that North Node in Aries energy, trying to get us on the right path, trying to get us to reach our soul's mission, potential, and purpose. And, of course, the moon in Leo, down for it. Emotionally speaking, we are thinking about the future. We're thinking about our options and opportunities to grow, to evolve, to be in alignment with a passion project, to be in alignment with something that we're actually excited to do, excited to pursue. The last thing that we got going on here today is the moon in Leo energy, making a beautiful interaction with the sun in Sagittarius energy. So again, we get some fire on fire action. The sun and the moon coming together is going to reveal to us what we want, what we need, what we desire, where we're motivated, we're excited, where we're passionate about moving on and moving forward. The sun shining a very bright light in Sagittarius energy, focused on the big goal, focused on the big dream, optimistic and confident that whatever it is that we can dream up, we can actually achieve it. And the moon in this Leo energy, again, kind of channeling our newest, realist, rawest, more vulnerable self. We are definitely down to being heart aligned and pursuing the things that we know would make our heart and soul space happy.